Why are you putting me on the spot like this? Gosh.
Imagine being grilled on national television while trying to keep a smile on your face. That's exactly what happened to some of the biggest stars in Hollywood, on a show that was supposed to be all about kindness and laughter. But behind the laughter, Ellen's interviews often crossed the line, turning light-hearted chats into moments of real discomfort. And some celebrities? They didn't hold back when it got too far. Let's start with Justin Bieber. What was meant to be a fun prank quickly turned sour. Ellen pulled a scare on him, and sure, that's part of her show's style. But you could tell Justin wasn't enjoying it. It didn't stop there. She brought up a photo of him from a Bora Bora vacation, where paparazzi had snapped a private moment. Instead of letting it slide, Ellen pushed the topic, asking who the woman in the picture was. Justin, clearly uneasy, tried to laugh it off. But when she kept digging, he hit his limit.
So there's a young woman in the background you can see in the bed.
Yeah, I know.
Is that your girlfriend?
No, it's not.
Covering his face, he said bluntly, "Stop."
Naked with your friend?
Why are you putting me on the spot like this? Gosh. Stop. You're making me blush, dude.
That wasn't a punchline. It was a boundary being drawn on live TV. This wasn't a one-time thing. Over the years, Ellen's show developed a reputation, not just for the dancing and giveaways, but for moments that made guests visibly uncomfortable. Whether it was pushing too hard on personal topics or turning sensitive subjects into punchlines, it became a pattern. And while some celebs brushed it off, others weren't afraid to push back. Like Mariah Carey back in 2008. At the time, rumors were swirling about her possibly being pregnant. Instead of skipping the gossip or respecting her privacy, Ellen went straight for the jugular.
I can have some champagne. It's just fattening. So,
You can't
know.
have champagne?
That's not champagne because you can't.
No, it
have
is.
Offering Mariah a glass of champagne and saying they'd know the truth if she refused to drink it. Mariah tried to play it cool, laughing awkwardly and avoiding the glass. But Ellen wouldn't drop it. "You're pregnant," she declared.
You're pregnant!
No, I didn't say that. No.
The audience laughed, but behind the scenes, that moment wasn't funny at all. Mariah was pregnant, but tragically, she suffered a miscarriage shortly after. Years later, she revealed how uncomfortable and pressured she felt during that interview.
I was like, why does she keep talking about champagne?
What was meant to be entertainment turned into a painful memory. Then there's Celine Dion, who had to defend her child on the show. Ellen commented on Celine's son's long hair, asking when she planned to cut it.
Look at him. He is beautiful, but look at his hair. When are you going to cut that hair?
Celine didn't let that slide. Calmly but firmly, she stood her ground, saying her son could wear his hair however he wanted.
Do you have a problem with that?
No, I don't have a problem. That is some long hair.
You know, I have to say, it's amazing, right?
She didn't stop there. She called out the double standards people apply, especially toward kids in the spotlight.
Some people shave the head of their children, and people say, oh, isn't that terrible?
That wasn't just a clapback. It was a reminder that even celebrities have lines you don't cross. These weren't harmless jokes or misunderstood moments. They were examples of celebrities being put in uncomfortable, sometimes hurtful, situations, live in front of millions. And while some stayed quiet, others decided it was time to speak up. And circling back to Justin Bieber, because his moment on Ellen's couch didn't just end with one awkward exchange. After being startled by the prank and grilled about a private paparazzi photo from his Bora Bora trip, Ellen kept pressing.
So there's a young woman in the background you can see in the bed.
Yeah, I know.
Is that your girlfriend?
No, it's not.
She wasn't satisfied with Justin's discomfort. She kept zooming in on the photo and asking, "Who's the girl?" Justin, still trying to keep his cool, explained that she was just a friend. But Ellen didn't drop it. She pushed again. That's when Justin's tone changed. You could hear the frustration. He asked her again to stop. It wasn't funny anymore. It was invasive. But Ellen's pattern of uncomfortable interviews didn't stop with Justin. In 2012, Taylor Swift found herself in a similar situation. She was there to promote her work, but Ellen had other plans. She started teasing Taylor about dating Zac Efron, trying to get a reaction. Taylor immediately shut it down. She said they were never a couple.
I'm so happy to see you. Every time you're here, you make me very happy. You were here with your boyfriend, Zac Efron, last time. How's he doing?
We actually never dated.
But Ellen kept pressing, showing photos, playing clips, and trying to force a narrative.
She always asks me who I'm dating every time I'm on the show, and I don't even know why.
All right,
We didn't date.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's ridiculous to show Zac. They never did date.
Taylor tried to smile through it, but you could tell she wasn't okay with it. Later, she admitted how upset she felt about being cornered like that, saying it made her look sad and lonely. That wasn't a funny segment, it was an ambush.
I don't know what I'm...
You're supposed to ring.
But I don't want to. I don't want to.
All right, I'll ring.
Because they'll send me angry emails
Here.
and I don't want to get them.
I'll hold it for you.
And then came the interview that truly flipped the script. Dakota Johnson. Her appearance became one of the most viral moments from Ellen's show. Not because of Ellen's jokes, but because Dakota wasn't having any of it. Ellen tried to call her out for not inviting her to a birthday party.
When was your birthday?
It was October 4th.
October 4th. You turned 30.
I did.
And how was the party? I wasn't invited.
But Dakota didn't let that slide. Calmly and directly, she said, "Actually, I did invite you."
Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen. You were invited.
The audience was silent. Ellen looked caught off guard, and Dakota didn't stop there. When Ellen tried to deflect, Dakota stayed composed, repeating that Ellen had been invited and even reminding her of the specific date.
Last time I was on the show, last year, you gave me a bunch of about not inviting you, but I didn't even know you wanted to be invited.
That moment became iconic, not just for the awkwardness, but because it was one of the first times a guest pushed back, live on air, without sugarcoating it. Then there's Hasan Minhaj. In 2019, he was invited on the show and introduced with a mispronunciation of his name.
And it's Hasan Minhaj.
No.
Yes.
No.
Really?
Something that, unfortunately, happens far too often for people with ethnic names. But Hasan didn't let it slide. He gently corrected Ellen, not just once, but firmly enough to make it clear this wasn't a throwaway mistake.
Well, my name is Hasan Minhaj.
Oh.
I actually want to do this on national television.
Good, please, because
Yeah.
everyone that says your name says Hasan Minhaj.
Yeah, but the real way you pronounce it, and this is a big deal because my parents are here, it's Hasan Minhaj.
He explained why it mattered. His parents were in the audience, and names carry meaning and respect. He even pointed out the double standard, how people don't struggle to say names like Timothée Chalamet, but act like Hasan Minhaj is impossible.
How do you not pronounce Hasan? Try it.
All right, Hasan Minhaj.
No, that's not.
No.
It wasn't a takedown. It was an honest moment that spoke volumes about identity, respect, and cultural awareness. These moments weren't isolated. They were part of a bigger pattern that made people rethink what happens behind the scenes of a so-called feel-good show. From dodging uncomfortable questions to calling out double standards and manipulative tactics, these celebrities didn't just sit there and smile. They stood up, sometimes with humor, sometimes with quiet defiance, and sometimes with a simple truth that cut deeper than any scripted joke could. And in doing so, they flipped the power dynamic, even if just for a moment, showing that even under the spotlight, boundaries still matter. Another celebrity who didn't hold back? Wendy Williams. During one of her appearances, Ellen questioned her about comments she had made regarding Kanye West and Kim Kardashian.
And what are your thoughts on Kim and Kanye?
Wendy didn't deny it. In fact, she doubled down. She bluntly predicted that Kim would end up as a single mother, and you could feel the temperature drop in the room.
I mean, I'm happy for her. She wanted a baby. But I've been saying she's going to be a single mom. And he is going to be a lot to deal with her.
Ellen tried to keep it light, but Wendy wasn't interested in softening her words. The mood got even more awkward when Wendy pivoted to compliment Ellen's vegan lifestyle.
Vegan.
Yeah, but that's all right.
How do you live without bacon?
It started as a nice gesture until she followed it with, "But how do you live without bacon?" Ellen, clearly taking the comment seriously, replied, "Pigs are smart animals."
Well, because I think pigs are smart animals.
It was a tense exchange disguised as casual conversation, but the friction was clear. And things didn't exactly smooth over in Wendy's next appearance. That time, she joked that Justin Bieber looked like Ellen, and while the audience laughed nervously, Ellen didn't.
And he really is cute, and some people say that he looks like you. I've heard that. You've never heard that? They say it in a good way.
The tension was once again undeniable. Then there was the moment with Cher, a legend in her own right. During a light-hearted segment called 5-Second Rule, Ellen asked Cher to name 3 things she says to her assistant.
I was thinking in a whole different place.
Really?
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking, handsome, tall, sweet.
Yeah.
When Cher hesitated and mentioned something about chocolate, Ellen joked about how that didn't count. Butcher wasn't laughing. She fired back with sharp sarcasm, clearly irritated. Her expression shifted, and it became obvious this wasn't a playful exchange for her.
You eat chocolate and you're in the mood?
No.
Well,
no.
that's
it's
what
like
you...
I don't get to have chocolate. I mean, look, I'm working on my body, and I just don't.
Right.
I have chocolate. I'm lying.
Yeah.
Cher clarified what she meant, but also made it clear she didn't appreciate being mocked in the moment. It might have been part of a silly game, but her body language said it all. She was annoyed, and she didn't care who saw it.
And then it turns you on?
No, it doesn't turn me on.
You just said it did.
No, I didn't mean it in that way.
Okay.
Bitch.
When you take a step back and look at all these interactions, Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, Dakota Johnson, Wendy Williams, Cher, it paints a very different picture of the Ellen DeGeneres show. One that's far from the cheerful, Be Kind brand it marketed for years. These weren't just random, awkward moments. They were signs of something deeper. Celebrities feeling pressured, uncomfortable, or even disrespected. And as more of these moments surfaced, fans started connecting the dots. They began asking, is Ellen as nice as she seems? It didn't take long before the public narrative began to shift. More celebrities started standing their ground. More people rewatched these clips and saw them in a new light. What once seemed like harmless jokes or quirky interviews were now being viewed as moments of manipulation, passive aggression, and control. The power dynamic had changed, and audiences weren't laughing anymore. So, what does this mean for Ellen's legacy? It's complicated. There's no denying the show's success or the influence it had over nearly 2 decades. But it also serves as a reminder that smiles and dance moves can only mask so much. When guests consistently feel the need to push back, correct the host, or call out uncomfortable behavior, it signals something's off. Maybe Ellen's show started with the right intentions. Maybe the fame, the pressure, or the control warped things along the way. Either way, the people who sat across from her, those few brave enough to challenge the narrative, helped peel back the curtain. And once that happened, the audience couldn't unsee it. Thanks for watching. If you found these moments as eye-opening as we did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more celebrity breakdowns and Hollywood deep dives. Drop a comment below. What's the most awkward Ellen interview you remember? Until next time, stay curious and stay real.